Let's go over the things that Aaron the plumber has been talking about.
Raina Dunlap was on her way to a baddies audition and was found deceased inside of a abandoned building. Jay Hefner, 1 month after filming with Zeus Network, was mysteriously deceased as well. Why is Zeus Network not saying anything about Raina Dunlap or Jay Hefner? I'm not about to be the third person.
Let's go ahead and do this. First, I'm gonna read the whole story, then I'm gonna give my opinion. And what I immediately pops out to me is that she passed away from an overdose. So let's go ahead and do this. A 30-year-old woman from a 30-year-old Maryland woman was recently found dead in a vacant house in Francis Avenue in Kingsman, Cleveland. Police confirmed on Tuesday. Um, Raina Dunlap, a social media influencer better known as the Nude Queen, was discovered some 3 months after she flew from Maryland to Cleveland to audition for Baddies Midwest. A body? Is this supposed to be baddie too? A body reality show series filmed by for the Zeus Network. Dunlap's death was first brought to public attention by her mother and sister, who posted cries for help on social media, asking those who knew about her about her stay or had possible information clarifying her actions up to her death. A GoFundMe page was created by the family on Monday to aid the investigation. I'm just looking for anybody who has been in contact with her or has heard from her in the past month. Raina's sister, Kira Dunlap, posted on TikTok. It's very, very important because something bad has happened to her, and we're trying to find out what happened. The incident is believed to be an overdose. A Cleveland police spokesperson told Scene, adding that final adding the final say yet to be determined by the Cuyahoga, Kyoga? I don't know, bro. County Medical Examiner's Office. Depending on that, what can determine what action we need to take. I butchered that last paragraph. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry. Um, Baddies Midwest, an offshoot of Zeus Bad Girls Club, is a creation of reality show producer Natalie Nunn, who brought the show and its casting to 7 cities across the region. The show is popular for its grotesque, high-octane fights among women on hay rides in living rooms, who typically try out for the show to boost their social standings. Posts on X suggest Dunlap stayed in Cleveland through November and December, and while apparently battling a kind of mental crisis of sorts. Recent posts X suggests anyone who tips surrounding Dunlap's disappearance death can anonymously contact the Cleveland police tip line. Okay. All right, that is it. That is it. Popped out to me has to be the fact that she passed away from an overdose. Um, if you haven't seen Eyes Wide Shut, I highly suggest you watch Eyes Wide Shut. And basically, what I'm leading, what I'm aiming at here is the fact that one of the playbooks is people passing away from an overdose.
News article said that the girl overdosed. But clearly, in the movie, she was actually a ritual sacrifice.
Right? They will say the entertainment industry, the other side will say that they passed away from an overdose, and that will you kind of care less when someone passes away from drugs because you're like, oh, there was just these druggies, right? They minimize the whole entire situation that happened to that person, and they are quick to discard the story and not really think about it as much. And so that's one of the playbooks, right? And so to see this whole thing happen, it kind of does like raise questions. Is like, what is Zeus really onto some weirdo stuff like that? Is that what how they're moving in order for them to transition to the mainstream media? Um, that raises questions. All right. And so, unfortunately, that's one of the things when you're trying to enter the entertainment industry is like a lot of times, bro, like you will fly out to places not knowing anything, um, and you really can't have people around you like that because it costs money to fly around, right? And not everyone has money. And so, unfortunately for her, she had to go. She usually did this all these things alone, and we'll never know really what happened, right? That's the kind of scary part, right? But the fact that Zeus was filming a reality TV show and all this other stuff. Is like, interesting. Go to Jay Hefner's story. So, painful loss. Adult film star Jay Hefner dies at 24 after being shot dead while trying to protect his cousin. Dang, that's sad, bro. Adult film star Jay Hefner died in a shooting while protecting his cousin. His family has confirmed. Hefner, whose real name was Savon Hopkins, was killed in Lincoln, Nebraska on Sunday in what his family has called a senseless act of gun violence. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Um, Hawken leaves behind a 10-month-old daughter and his terminally ill mother. Oh, that's so sad, bro. The 24-year-old has arrived in the city of his, from his okay. The 24-year-old had arrived in the city from his home in Ontario, Canada, to celebrate the birthday of a loved one. A GoFundMe page has set up to raise money for Hopkins' family. Claimed he died while trying to protect his cousin from physical violence. It's never easy to lose a loved one, but losing a child is the most painful loss one could ever experience. Kyra Miller, a close friend of Hopkins' mother, Jenny Brown, wrote on the page. The incident involving Hopkins occurred around 1:30 a.m. when officers were called regarding a fight. When they arrived to the scene, they found two men with gunshot wounds who were taken to the hospital for treatment. The police department later confirmed that the 24-year-old man had died from his injuries. Despite immediate life-saving measures by medical personnel, the 24-year-old Lincoln man passed away from his injuries around 5:37 a.m. A press release stated the second man from Lincoln said to be in his 40s is in stable condition with non-life-threatening injuries. Cops are appealing for more information regarding the incident. The other shooting in the capital city occurred around 7:45 around and 11:30 p.m. On Saturday, but no other fatalities were reported. Hopkins leaves behind a 10-month-old daughter, girlfriend Madeline, his siblings, and his terminally ill mother, whom he cared for. Savon was a shining light that was there for everyone who loved him. Miller wrote, father to a 10-month-old daughter who adored him. He also helped his terminally ill mother care for her siblings. Man, that's sad. Um, Forever Us. His girlfriend Madeline took to Instagram saying that her heart is completely shattered as she shared a clip of him kissing her on the cheek on her stories. In a separate post, she posted a tribute to her whole heart in a human form and revealed that the instantly broke down. Obviously, she received the call from his mother. Mm. We had so much planned. I love you so much, Savion. I'm lost for words, she wrote. When your mom called, I instantly broke down. I never felt this type of hurt, and honestly, I don't know how to get through it. There's absolutely no words that can explain the love I have for you. But you know what is what is about us. Rest up. I'll make sure that you'll never forgotten forever us. She added. The fundraiser established by Miller has exceeded its target in less than 24 hours. At the time of the writing, $25,710 has been raised to help support his family, which is already under financial strain due to the mother's medical care and now Hopkins' death. The page explains. The death comes a year after he won the award for industry in the industry and finished a degree in dentistry. Oh, interesting. Hopkins was also ambassador of a model for Fashion Nova Rockstar Original and Drawl Brand Co. According to social media reports, tributes for Hopkins poured into social media from content creators after his cousin shared the news of his death on X. I send my condolences to you and your family. He's such a gentleman. Every time I see him at events, a fellow creator commented, "This is devastating. Sorry for your loss. He's very loved." Another wrote, "Damn. My heart breaks for you and your family, Jay. Was such an amazing guy. Okay, my heart breaks for you and your family, Jay. Jay was such an amazing guy." A third added, "The U.S. Sun has contacted Lincoln Police Department for an update on the investigation of his death." Zeus wasn't involved though. That's the only thing. That's so this one to me doesn't really seem like you know a anything deeper, right? Besides this the fact that they used this picture for him is interesting, but other than that, I feel like this might have just been a senseless shooting, man. And unfortunately, um, him trying to be a good man, he try to protect his cousin. This was a good man in general, just cause like bro, like he was trying to, you know, help his ill mother. He had a 10-month old, so yeah, man, this one's sad, man. This one's terrible too, man. It's sad to hear. Hopefully him and his family, we'll get through this, man. Yeah, man, an ill mother, bro. That's oof, bro. Like losing a child is crazy, bro. Especially like this, bro. Yeah, man. Dude had his head on his shoulders, bro. Dude had his head on his shoulders for sure, man. It doesn't seem like anything weird happened, to be honest. It just seems like the passing of a good man. Um, adult film star. I the fact that they kind of use like I hate the fact that they like I said one of the things I hate is that they use this type of thing and this type of things to I guess minimize again the story, right? And so could this have been something, right? I guess, but for me, this doesn't seem anything deeper than that, bro. Like it feels like this is a good man that tried to help his family, try to help the people around him, um, and you know, he tried to do everything, from just to get by. To be honest, bro. Like so, and there's nothing wrong with that, bro. This man has to take care of an ill mother. This guy has a 10-month-old. This guy has a whole family to think about, and the fact that he tried to do his best for all of them, even if it means like kind of degrading yourself in the sense. For me personally, um I find commendable, bro. Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace.
Somebody's definitely been following me. Mysterious stuff has been happening. Somebody mysteriously drove their car through my living room.
We're here with gang stalking, and if y'all don't know what gang stalking is, let me go ahead and pass this on to you.
Gang stalking from a spiritual standpoint, you have these different entities that jumps from vessel to vessel to vessel to vessel. So, like, you may be at a family function, you know what I'm saying? And let's say that maybe you're one of the chosen ones. So you're always gonna have these different battles and these things attacking you and coming at you or whatever. So let's say you're at a family function and you talking with, let's say a relative, cousin or somebody, and then all of a sudden the conversation goes from good to you notice these weird vibes or this weird stare, this weird energy coming off from this person, you know what I'm saying? And it's not really making sense of where it's coming from. When these situation happens, it just reminds me that some of these beings that we deal with that's not trying to vibrate to their highest frequency, it makes them an easy vessel for the demonic forces to grab a hold of their vessels. You know what I'm saying? The same way the chosen ones or the enlightened ones, the light workers, whichever title you want to put on it, the same way we're used as vessels for the higher power, the creator, you know what I'm saying? Other beings are used as a vessel as well too.
And so that's gang stalking, guys. And honestly, man, like there is layers and levels to this, right? The first level is physical, right? There's physical gang stalking, which I'll get into in a minute. And then there's spiritual gang stalking, which I feel like I've experienced in my life, right? I've experienced like a good and an evil side to it all, right? And I'll first get into the evil one. So when I worked at a 7-Eleven, there's two brief instances where I believe um evil was talking to me, and I mean evil, right? And I used to work at a Hollywood and Western 7-Eleven, and one day on a Saturday night, you know, everything was lively. It's Hollywood, right? Hollywood, everything's lively all the way up throughout the whole night. And so there was a brief instance where um it was around 3 a.m., which is crazy. Also, it was like a brief instance where I don't know where it felt like everything stopped. Everything just went quiet. It was as if a predator was nearby. You feel me? And so a woman comes in, and this woman is obviously like drugged out, whacked out. Her eyes are rolling. Like it's crazy, bro. And so she just puts her hands on the table or on the cash register area, right? She puts her hands on there, and she starts breathing heavily, and she speaks on the devil. She says that the devil watches you at all times, and that You never know where he is or where he's at, but he's watching type stuff. And so I was just like, all right, cool, bro. You want something, like you want some cigarettes or whatever, whatever. But that wasn't it. Then a second situation happened to me where someone else speaks on the devil, but this person also had like one of them, like it was like a homemade machete, right? And it was insane because it was just like, yo, like what what is going on, bro? And so I feel like those were two instances where evil gang stalked me in a way, because it was just, it was super interesting. And I can tell you one where the good happened, right? Where there was a time in my life where it just felt like I was at a bus stop on Fairfax and Santa Monica, and I was sitting there, and I was thinking to myself about like my life and the choices that and all that other stuff. And this homeless woman walks up to me, right? And she's just standing there. We're both standing there waiting for the bus. And she turns to me and says, sometimes it's best to let people go and to live your life, and everything will be fine, And there was, I don't know, man. It felt interesting because it was just like, damn, like I was thinking this. I was literally thinking this. This was heavy on me, and so to hear someone at a random just tell me that was super insane, and it felt like it was one of those instances where I wrote it down. I feel like it's as if God spoke through someone, right? You have moments where God speaks to you through somebody else, and that was an instance, and I was just taken back, bro. And it was super interesting. So I do believe in like gang stalking, but I believe there's good and bad gang stalking, good and evil, right? And so depending on how right you are within your own self and your soul and your heart, um you will get messages from the other side, and you got to be wary if it's good or bad. Right, let me read this again. I messed up. They pissed off or rejected, offended a narcissist and or a who has some authority, power, connections. That they are empathetic, honest, and intelligent. They don't conform to society's standards or ideas. They are outspoken against the hypocrisy and injustice. They question authority. They like movies, TV shows, books, music, and that expose the evil agenda of the government. They are homeless, drug addicts, those with mental illness and or you know uh, this is so that no one will believe them when they speak up about the abuse they are subjected to. Also, it's also some are easier to control due to their circumstances. That's true. They know too much about things that the government wants to hide from regular people. They were in military or have family members who are and were. They wrote a negative review on the line of someone. It kind of lose me after this. And if you really think about it, like our greatest revolutionaries of this earth have all been gang stalked and uh, assassinated by the government. If you think about it, there's a few that come to my mind that I've like looked up to, which is like the Martin Luther King Juniors, the Fred Hamptons, the Dr. Sebbies, Nipsey Hussles, even the Tupacs, bro. Like these guys were changing the world. And so going back a little bit to the spiritual gang stalking, is I feel like the evil of the world, the greed, the power hungry like energy of this world, gang stalks, tries to suppress and gang stalk the good, which is our revolutionaries that I just mentioned. And I feel like I call I feel like they when a revolutionary speaks and it's with with passion, with honesty, with heart, with love, with all that, they reach a certain frequency that I like to call like the Christ frequency. Because when Christ spoke, people listened. Everyone. I don't know, man. Like it's one of those things where it's just like, yo, it's super interesting. And then seeing like men that didn't resort to violence ever, yet they were able to change the hearts of men, like in Martin Luther King Jr.'s case, and then we have Fred Hampton's case, and then we have. I feel like there's a frequency that those men can speak on, and I feel like we can all reach that, but it's just you got to be the thing that you're fighting for has to be that of like honest change and good towards the world, and you will be able to reach that frequency. And so, yeah, that's a theory of mine that I have.
I had my friend reach out to a female to ask her if she gave Zeus Network my address. And my friend is in his own neighborhood. And 2 hours after asking her, two random men come and stab him in the back of his head. And he's now in the
This is what I
hospital.
find really trippy and like suspicious as hell, bro. Suspicious as hell.
This isn't no coincidence, okay? Look into all the contestants' names on the show. They all have Greek mythology. All names refer to Greek mythology. Look into that, man. Zeus is demonic. I don't have enough money to go against these people.
This is where I'm probably gonna need y'all's help. I tried to kind of like see the correlation, and so far, like, I can't see the correlation between the names and Greek mythology. Um, the first thing to came to my mind was you know, the horoscope or astrology thing. Because of they have twins on here, right? They have twins, right? They had twins on here, and so I'm thinking it's more of like an astrology thing where Gemini's, then each one of these guys represent a like a Gemini, like a Leo, like a I don't know, Aries, right, or something like that. That's the only like correlation I could make of it when it came to the names or the personalities and stuff like that. That's the only correlation I could have made out of it. Maybe you guys can help me. Like maybe you guys can like put down in the comments and see like, oh, you missed this or you missed that, right? And I would love to get informed. I would really appreciate it. So the second thing that came to my mind has to be Zeus Network, the name Zeus Network, because if I remember correctly, they're based off of like the passing of two of their contestants. You know, you think of um offerings to Zeus. I have an article that says, did ancient Greeks engage in human sacrifices? And ancient Greeks are associated with music, philosophy, logic, storytelling. So that's entertainment business. So tales of human sacrifice in the works of ancient writers include Plato are often chalked up as myths. But discovery of the remains of a male teenager of the Mount, like I can't pronounce Lycaon, the spot where some Greeks made animal sacrifice to Zeus, may lend credence to those tall tales. So, I don't know if I should read the rest of this. But at the end of the day, there is evidence that shows that there were offerings to Zeus in the past, and so they could be participating, and Zeus Network could be participating in something like this or something. Allegedly, I can't say, but that's the only way I can think of like this correlation that Aaron's trying to make. And if for some that's ever wonders why they sacrifice or they offer humans, this is like what came to my mind
to make sense of it all. Essentially, these people have taken the ancient idea of blood magic and adapted it for the modern era. Supposedly, blood is a very powerful and personal tool used in occultism.
mind, man. And so I also think that there's still a lot of people that like to practice or um follow like these ancient religions, these old religions where they would do offerings for, like to Zeus, and that way they can, in exchange of like more like mainstream media or be more mainstream, or like, because Greek is definitely like Hollywood, bro. And so if you would think about it, like Zeus would be that guy you would want to speak to for you to get more, notoriety on like the media side, right? And Aleister Crowley used to also practice like old ancient religions such as like Egyptian worship and stuff like that. Could this be real? I can't be one to really say. That's up to you guys to believe. But there is something in the air though. Yeah, like, and so please, like, if you guys can, throw down some of your opinions, some of your thoughts down in the comment sections. I would love to hear them. I would love to read them. Like, comment, subscribe. I guess I feel weird doing that, but I would really appreciate it. I thank you.